Welcome back. Futures indicating a lower opening for the broader markets this morning after 3 days of gains for stock prices, and yesterday a record high close for the Nasdaq. The confidence coming from the Federal Reserve's decision to keep interest rates pat, but that could change later this year. Joining us right now, Macro Maven's president, Stephanie Pomboy, to tell us more. Stephanie, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much for joining us. So I don't think anybody was expecting the Fed to move on interest rates this week. Obviously, they came and went. They did not. What are you expecting the Fed to do? And tell us your feeling about the broader economy right now, the backdrop.
Well, I think we talked about this a long time ago, but I never expected them to raise rates in December because the economic case just wasn't there. Most of the data back then was weaker than it had been when they launched QE2 and QE3. So if the data was weaker than when they were easing, why are they raising rates? And it seemed clearly to be sort of an attempt to restore credibility. I think the case is even weaker now, and as we get into December, I don't expect it to look any better. So I think, you know, it's one and done is the story, that we will not see another rate hike from the Fed this cycle.
Wow.
In fact, I think the next move will be to renew QE in some form or fashion.
So you're saying that it's even a weaker case. Does that mean that the economy has worsened?
Since the end of July, the Citigroup Economic Surprise Index, which is a great kind of very easy way to categorize all the economic data that's come out. It just rates it whether it's surprised on the upside or downside. That diffusion index has gone from 43 since the end of July to -6.
Oh, my God.
Over that same stretch, it's a massive collapse in the tone of the data.
Why?
Over that, well, we had disappointing retail sales, you know, housing. We've had a number of all the manufacturing readings have all been weaker. And I think this is, you know, this idea that we're going to have this second half rebound is taking on water big time, and no one's paying attention. Over the same stretch of time that Citigroup index has declined that sharply, over that 7-week stretch, junk yields have declined 30 basis points and spreads have declined 40 basis points. So this risk-on attitude is still as fervent as ever in the face of really disappointing data.
Stephanie, that next move you're expecting, instead of a rate hike, we're going to get more QE, more money printing, more central bank intervention. Haven't we learned through this whole period it doesn't work? We didn't get the growth they promised. We didn't even get the inflation they wanted. I don't know why they want that, but isn't the answer now pretty clear that we need tax and regulatory reform to start growing again?
Say hallelujah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's so clear that this QE hasn't worked. We've seen nominal GDP slow throughout this entire period. Retail sales growth slow throughout that entire period. Corporations aren't investing in business. They're paying back dividends and buying back shares. So it's not the answer. However, the Fed, I don't think, is ready to stand up and proclaim its impotence. I think they're going to say, hey, you know, it's just we haven't done enough or whatever. I think they're going to feel like they need to prove that they have some role to play in the economy still. So they'll do QE. I'm not endorsing the policy, but you're totally right. I think what we need is real reform, tax reform, any kind of fiscal policies that are going to promote corporate spending, hiring, you know, things that will actually revitalize the economy rather than pushing money into a system that's just going into financial assets.
Okay, so that's what we need. Do you think it's going to happen, or are you long-term bearish because you don't think the political system is going to respond?
Well, tell me who's going to win the election, and I'll answer that question.
So I think we'll probably get it with Donald Trump because that's what he's talking about. He's talking about tax reform.
Yep.
Would we get it with Hillary Clinton? She's not talking about it much.
I'm not a policy wonk, but from everything I've heard, no, it doesn't sound like that. We have a chance that we can get this economy on the right footing with the policies that Trump is talking about. I don't really hear that from the Clinton side at all. Yeah. Although, you know, there's the argument on Wall Street that she's the better candidate for financial assets because the devil you know is better than the one you don't. But, you know, I'd rather see some real reform in the economy.
So then you disagree with Mark Cuban that if Trump were to be elected, that the whole economy is going to blow up?
I think the economy is heading to blow up on its own right now. And the question is, why is someone willing to even step in and assume the reins right now? It's a challenging position to be in. But, you know, if he can get through some of the policies that he's proposing, there's a chance we can actually bring this thing back.
He's certainly talking about economic growth. I mean, that's what his focus is, and that's what we need right now, economic growth.
And
what
he
about
knows how to create jobs. She's never created a job.
Right.
So.
Well, she's been in government for 30 years. What about markets? I mean, yesterday we had 3 days of gains. We're seeing record highs, NASDAQ, Amazon.
Right.
Is the move in Amazon above $800 yesterday? This company is just incredible.
It is.
Does that indicate to you what's going on with online shopping? Is that one of the bright spots? I just tweeted out a question, where are the jobs? And that's what I want to ask from you. Where is the growth?
Yeah.
Do you see any growth? Where are the jobs?
Well, you know, the Amazon, certainly they're stealing share from the broad brick and mortar retailers. But in aggregate, the consumer spending numbers have been softer and slowing. And if you look at individual income tax receipts, which to me is the ultimate barometer of what's going on with household income, it's showing zero growth year on year. So it's not a mystery as to why it is that spending is disappointing month after month. For all these jobs that are being created, incomes aren't rising. So we've got a major problem here. And it's happening at a time when there's this kind of post-crisis inclination to save. So households are trying to save, but they don't get the income growth sufficient to both save and spend at the same time. So for the markets, in answer to your question, I think we're reaching the point, you know, it's hard to know when you get to the maximum extreme where the perception about economic growth and the reality can part, you know, no farther. But we're reaching real extremes on that. You know, like I referenced, the collapse in junk spreads in the face of deteriorating economic data is, you know, an example of just this blind flight for yield.
Wow, wow. All right, real quick, Stephanie, do you think a recession happens in 17?
I think the surprise would be if it didn't. We've had 5 quarters of declining earnings.
Yeah.
You've never had a profits recession without an economic recession except once in 1986. And yet no one's forecasting a recession. That's a mystery to me.
Wow. Stephanie, great insights as always. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Pleasure to
We'll
be
see you
here.
soon. Stephanie Pomboy. Still to come, can't get your way. Sue, why Tesla is taking aim at the state of Michigan.